At 9:14 on a Tuesday morning in March 2019, Darnell Reyes sat in his car in the parking lot of a Bank of America branch on South Tryon Street in Charlotte, North Carolina. He was there to make a payment. It was the last one. The amount was $287.44. Over 11 years, he had made payments totaling just under $10,800. The original balance, the number this had all started from, was $3,000, and a credit card charge from the spring of 2008. He sat in the parking lot for 6 minutes before he got out. Not because he was emotional, because the math had finally landed. 11 years, and that was what it had cost him. The teller processed the payment in under 2 minutes. Darnell signed the slip, took his receipt, and drove back to work. He was 40 years old. He had been carrying this debt since George W. Bush was president. In the spring of 2008, Darnell was 29 years old and working in logistics coordination for a mid-size freight company off Interstate 85 in Charlotte. He had been there 3 years. He was good at the job. He had a used Honda Accord, a split apartment with one roommate, and $600 in savings. He paid his bills on time. He had one credit card with a zero balance and a $4,500 limit. He had never carried a balance on it. His father had spent most of Darnell's childhood dealing with credit card debt, revolving balances, phone calls at dinner, what the particular stress of money owed without a clear end date. Darnell had watched it. He had decided early. The freight company had a single large contract with a residential developer in Charlotte. In April 2008, that developer stopped paying. By June, the company had let 14 people go. Darnell found out on a Friday afternoon. He applied immediately. Logistics, operations, supply chain. He had a resume and a solid employment record. The market in Charlotte in the summer of 2008 was not what it had been in 2007, or the interviews kept promising things that didn't come through. The credit card covered groceries, gives a phone bill he couldn't let lapse, and partial rent for 2 months. By November 2008, the balance was $3,000. The minimum payment was $62. He set up autopay and told himself it was temporary. By March 2009, he had a full-time position at a distribution company, $38,000 a year. He updated his budget. He kept the $62 autopay running, and he had other things to catch up on first. If you want to see how a $62 minimum payment stretched into 11 years, here's what I ask. Subscribe. Drop a like if this one hit close. Tell us in the comments, have you ever made minimum payments longer than you planned to? Back to Darnell. Most people assume the debt is where this story went wrong. It isn't. It never was. The minimum payment of $62 was not a mistake. Darnell was managing a real shortfall from a real layoff. His savings were gone. He had back rent to recover, a car with failing brakes, and a credit score he needed to protect. The card carried a 19.99% APR. On a $3,000 balance, the monthly interest charge was approximately $49. Of his $62 payment, $13 went toward the principal. The balance did not move the way a person imagines it will. By the end of 2009, the balance was $2,840. He had sent in $744 over the year. The balance had dropped $160. He knew this, roughly. He told himself he would increase the payments when things settled down. Things settled. He got a raise in 2010. They're up to $42,000. He moved into a one-bedroom apartment. He bought a better mattress and a small flat-screen television. The $62 minimum payment stayed running in the background. He did not think about it often. In late 2011, a piece of mail arrived from a consumer finance company. It offered to consolidate outstanding credit card debt into a single monthly payment at 15.9% interest. The letter was one page. The math it presented was clean. Darnell called. He ran the numbers as they explained them. A loan of $3,100 would cover his remaining balance and the processing fee. Monthly payment, $89. Term, 60 months. He signed the paperwork in January 2012. It felt like a solution. What he did not read carefully was Section 4. It listed an origination fee of $240, deducted from the loan at closing. It also contained a prepayment condition. If he missed more than 2 payments, the amortization schedule would reset. He skimmed it. In January 2013, the Accord's transmission began to fail. The repair estimate was $2,200. He didn't have it in savings. He covered it by cutting expenses for several months. The loan payment was one of the things he reduced. He paid $50 in January 2013. He missed February. He paid $50 in March. In April, he logged into his account and found the balance had gone up. He called the company. They explained what had happened to his amortization. The reset had added 14 months to his term. The company offered a modified payment plan, $76 per month, extended schedule, and he accepted. He had a job, a routine, a life. The payment was manageable. He kept moving. Between 2014 and 2016, he made every payment on time. By January 2016, the balance showed $2,410. He had been making payments for 8 years. He still owed more than he had originally borrowed. He looked at the screen for a long moment. He had the money to pay it off by then. Not easily, but he had it. He chose not to. He was building an emergency fund, something he had promised himself since the layoff. The monthly payment fit into the budget. He didn't feel urgency. The debt had become furniture. Something in the corner of the room he had stopped seeing because it had always been there. He wasn't drowning. He was just never finishing. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, a person carrying a $3,000 credit card balance at 20% interest and paying only the minimum can take more than 20 years to pay it off. Said Darnell had been ahead of that pace. Not by much. In the fall of 2016, Darnell sat down with a legal pad and added up what he had paid since 2008. He worked slowly. He went through his bank records, his email confirmations, his old statements. He wanted the actual number. The number was approximately $8,300. He had paid $8,300 on a $3,000 debt. He still owed $2,410. He put the pen down and looked at what he had written. He did not say anything. The apartment was quiet. He called his sister in Raleigh that evening. She was an accountant. She walked him through 2 scenarios, continuing at $76 a month or redirecting $300 a month. She did not editorialize. She just read him the numbers. At $76 a month, he would finish in late 2019, paying roughly $2,500 more in total interest before it was done. At $300 a month, he could be finished in under 10 months. He sat with that information for several days. He increased the payment to $180, not $300. And his emergency fund still had 3 months of expenses in it. He had wanted 6. His mother's health had become a concern. There were costs he might need to cover quickly. He split the difference again. This is the part that's hard to explain to someone who hasn't been in it. The debt wasn't destroying him. He wasn't desperate, or behind, or falling apart. He was just managing. And managing can go on for a very long time without ever ending. By mid-2017, the balance was $1,800. He had accelerated, and not sharply. An extra $30 here, a skipped month when an expense hit, then back to his rate. The balance moved, slower than the math said it could. He got married in October 2017. In December, he told his wife about the loan. Not because he had hidden it, because in 10 years the debt had become a private matter. The way old scar tissue is private. She looked at the statement. She looked at the origination date. She looked at him. She didn't say anything critical. Now she said, "Let's just end it." They built a payoff plan together. He increased the payment to $320 a month. December 2017. $1,480. April 2018. $820. October 2018. $410. February 2019. $287.44. 11 years after the first charge, there was a payoff figure on the screen. He called the company to confirm. The number was real. The thing about a debt that never breaks you is that it also never pushes you to end it. Until someone sits down across from you and reads the origination date out loud. Darnell is 45 years old. He and his wife live in the University City neighborhood of Charlotte with their 2 daughters. He works in supply chain management for a regional distribution company. The logistics career he started before the layoff continued. He has no credit card debt. He carries 1 card for travel points and pays the full balance monthly. His credit score is 741. He has 6 months of household expenses held in a dedicated savings account. He has not taken a personal loan since 2012. He has not used a consumer finance company since the consolidation loan closed. He pays cash or waits. He does not find this difficult. He does not think the credit card was a mistake. The layoff happened. The expenses were real. The card was there. He has said this to people who ask, and he means it without qualification. The consolidation loan, he is less certain about. He thinks he may have made a worse deal than he understood at the time. He has not done the complete math. He is not sure he wants to. His daughters do not know about the debt, yet he plans to tell them when they are older. He is not sure what he will say. He thinks about it sometimes. He keeps coming back to the same question. The $3,000 started with groceries, gas, and a phone bill in the middle of a recession. He has said this when explaining it. Nobody could have known how long it would last. That part he is clear on. He kept the final payment receipt, not framed, not on display, in a manila folder in his home office with other documents from that period. Then he is not sure why he kept it. He just has. His wife has said she thinks he kept it as proof. Proof that it ended, that it finally had a number on it. He thinks she's probably right. He hasn't said it out loud yet. From 2008 to 2019, Darnell Reyes paid $10,812 on a debt that started at $3,000. He never declared bankruptcy. He never defaulted. He managed. For 11 years, he managed. This wasn't the only time this happened. Yet there are accounts opened in necessity and never closed. In every income bracket, in every city, at every age. The amount changes. The logic does not. Darnell made the final payment on a Tuesday morning in March 2019. The teller did not know what she was processing. Neither did the lobby. The building looked the same going out as it had going in. It made sense. At the time,